Hi, my name is Franciria Moore with the Prosperity Agenda, and welcome to Coaching Up Close, our mini webinar series designed to work some quick tips into your busy schedule to help you improve your coaching skills. But first, let me introduce TPA. We are working to end persistent poverty by changing the way that we think about, build programs for, and coach families under financial stress. Coaching is, of course, a big part of our DNA, and we are working with organizations all over the country on their coaching programs. Before we jump in, if you are joining us live, we'll have a question and answer session at the end of this webinar, so save your questions. And as a note, please feel free to view our this video and past Coaching Up Close videos with your colleagues and those interested in incorporating coaching into their work with families. Please visit our website at theprosperityagenda.org to register for these upcoming webinars and visit our YouTube and LinkedIn page under the name The Prosperity Agenda to stay connected. Now, let's get started with today's session about the 7 assumptions of the coaching approach. There are many kinds of coaching, from sports coaches to career coaches and even birthing coaches. The act of coaching serves many different needs, but central to family-centered coaching is the assumption that families have the answers and that coaches hold the process and create environments that make change possible. We hold a set of these 7 assumptions that guide our practice as practitioners working with families. An assumption is something that is accepted as true or as certain to happen without proof. So assumptions in the coaching approach allow the coach to lay aside their experiences, values, beliefs, and biases. The 7 assumptions that we're going to discuss today also allow practitioners to establish the start of each session by acknowledging that participants deserve an equitable, a safe, a healthy, and an intentional support mechanism toward accomplishing their goals. So let's get started talking about the 7 assumptions of coaching. The first assumption of the coaching approach is that every family is creative, capable, and resourceful. That means at the onset of every session, we are coming in with the assumption, whether or not there's proof or not, despite what the case notes might say, we're accepting these 7 statements as the truth. And it'll allow us to come in and put down our biases and be fully present with the family there. And so the first one is that every family is creative, capable, and resourceful. Wow, how revolutionary would that be if we all walked into our coaching sessions believing that families have the creative power, they are capable of doing the work that's necessary, and within their own network there are resources that they can tap into, rather than seeing families as in need of your help or a problem that is needed, that they are a problem that needs to be fixed, but instead seeing them as creative, capable, and resourceful. The second assumption is that a strengths-based approach is more likely to empower families to achieve long-term stability. It's not just good enough to talk about what is missing. We have to come from a strengths-based approach if we want to see long-term sustained change in a person's life. Talking constantly about a person's deficits or what is missing or their weaknesses does not do much to empower the family to tap into that creativity, capability, and resourcefulness that we just talked about. And so the coaching approach assumes that if I use a strengths-based approach, we can empower families to achieve long-term stability. All right. Number three is coaches create environments that make change possible. Personally, this is one of my favorite assumptions. I love to go into a coaching session assuming that my role in this entire collaborative relationship is to create the environment where change can happen, to create space for families so that they can tap into their creativity, their resourcefulness, their capabilities. Because many times our clients, just like we can relate to it, are overwhelmed with competing demands. And so if there is an environment where they can go, where someone holds the door open for them, then they can make change happen in their own life rather than waiting for a coach or an external partner to come in and make things happen for them. So by creating the environment, we assume that by creating the environment that families have an opportunity to make the changes that they would like to see in their life. That's what we assume about the coaching approach. Number 4 is that greater self-awareness leads to increased performance and fulfillment. That is an assumption that we make about coaching, that if we can do our role as a coach, do our job as a coach and hold the mirror for families. We want to just simply hold the mirror up and allow families to see what is working well for them, and maybe what are some of the things that they might need to change, because we believe that the more aware they are of their strengths and their opportunities, the more we can increase that performance and fulfillment as they're reaching their goals. Okay, I often talk about what it was like for me getting dressed in my house prior to moving in with my partner. I had no mirrors. I had no idea what I looked like when I went out to the outside world, and many times I would get dressed and feel like, whoa, I feel amazing. This feels great. And then I walk by a building and see a reflection of myself and go, whoa, that's not at all what I thought I looked like. And so the coaching approach assumes that if a coach holds the process and holds a mirror up for families to assess themselves, to become self-aware of how they're presenting, how they're showing up, and how they're working toward their goals, we can increase their success in their performance and their fulfillment toward those goals. Okay, number 5. The fifth assumption is that change has a rippling effect throughout many aspects of our lives. When a coach enters into the family's life and becomes a part of that family dynamic, the coach is assuming that even though I might be working with you in housing or in education or maybe even career, that making this one change, helping this family achieve this one goal, has rippling effects throughout many aspects of their life. Now, this works in the positive as well, unfortunately, in the negative. Okay. And so as a coach, there's a weight of responsibility that comes in with our work, recognizing that positive change has positive rippling effects throughout many aspects of their life, but so does negative change. And so those negative changes also impact multiple areas of our lives. And with coming in with that assumption, we are not looking to blame families if they are not ready for change. We are not looking to ostracize families or exclude families if they are not ready to experience a change in this particular area of their life. But rather, we recognize as a coach, when we enter with these assumptions, that if we can get some change here, we can leverage that to have change in other aspects of our life. And so the work that we do is really transformative because it gives family an in, it gives participants an in to getting into the driver's seat of their own life and really driving the change that they would like to see from day to day, from week to week, and across their entire family. All right. Number 6, the sixth assumption that we make about the coaching approach is that the rate of change is unique to each family and varies across time and task. That means before every session, I'm reminding myself that the way that the Johnson family responds may be very different than the way that the Jackson family responds, but each family will have tasks that are easier for them to do and take a little bit of time, while another family might need more time and a different way of approaching that task. This is about meeting the family where they are. We have to meet them where they are, and we have to expect that different families will need different things. And so we assume that by providing a coaching approach, there is grace. Okay, there is grace and there is understanding for families needing different things in order to achieve those goals. That's a pretty simple one, but that's an important assumption that we make. While our program guidelines might say this should take about 3 weeks, we understand that across the different families and across the tasks that are given to them, it may take a little more or a little less time, and we create space for that to happen. And then number 7, the final assumption of the coaching approach. The coaching approach gives participants the amount of support they need to be successful. Again, this is about meeting families where they are and not providing equality necessarily, but moving into the world of equity. That means I meet you where you are and I give you what you need so that you can succeed, rather than saying, I'm going to give everybody one, okay? And then hopefully, good luck. I hope that one thing helps you out. Well, what happens when a family is at a -5? and that 1 only moves them to a -4. If they're in a -5, then we need to give them 6 in order to get them at 1. If a family is at a 1 already, maybe they don't need as much support. Maybe they don't need for you to be in the driver's seat with them. Maybe they don't need the readiness assessment, but we are looking to develop a relationship with families that allows us to get to know them through the coaching approach, through these collaborative, non-judgmental relationships at such a level that we can give them the amount of support that they need in order to be successful, rather than just giving them the default prescriptive measure of support that we're used to giving each family. Okay, and so those are the 7 assumptions of the coaching approach. We assume that if we have these beliefs at the onset of each and every session, that we can do transformative work with families free of our biases, free of our values and experiences, free of our own beliefs about what is necessary and important for the family in front of us. And these assumptions allow us to center ourselves in the coaching mindset, being goal-driven, participant-centered, and strengths-based. So in closing, for coaching professionals, these assumptions are a guidepost for checking your biases and transitioning yourself into the coaching mindset. As a coach, these assumptions are used with every participant in every session, every single time we have a conversation with them. We are assuming that every family is creative, capable, and resourceful, that a strengths-based approach is more likely to empower families to achieve long-term stability, that coaches create environments that make change possible, that a greater self-awareness leads to increased performance and fulfillment, that change has a rippling effect throughout many aspects of our lives, that the rate of change is unique to each family and varies across time and task, and finally, that the coaching approach gives each participant the amount of support that they need in order to be successful. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Join us next month for more coaching tips and resources, and be sure to stick around for the question and answer portion. And of course, if you have any questions about our coaching training program, or if you would like to sign up for the next Coaching Up Close mini webinar, please visit our website at theprosperityagenda.org and check out our YouTube and LinkedIn pages. Thanks everyone, and we'll see you next month. Bye.